it's not what I thought it was, and how my mind has changed in 10 years. Hi, Will Perry here. Welcome to another Keeping the Conversation Alive. And this is an interesting one for me. Can you see, I'm doing it with without the lights on, the main light. And can you see the darker, more interesting background of my, I've gone the whole hog with the tree behind me, have I not? I was looking at my YouTube channel t'other day, and my most popular, my top ranked, most viewed video there has had, let me tell you, drum roll, and it's called "How to Stop Loving an Abuser." Has 175,724 views. That's awesome. That isn't in 1 week though. That's taken 10 years. It's 2012 that I did it, so almost 10 years. It's coming up for 10 years. 3 months short of 10 years. And I thought, how interesting, because who I was, what I was doing in that time. Um, yeah, that was after two marriages having broken down, and I've racked up a third one in that time as well, which is not what I intended to do at all. So I thought it'd be interesting to do kind of an update to that video in as much, because it's certainly the subject matter has moved on somewhat, as things do, as things grow, develop, we get more information, we feed, perspective changes, life changes. I thought it'd be interesting to kind of give an update to that because I think it's perfectly relevant and pertinent now. I thought at that time, 10 years ago, it was about seeing and noticing radars, beep, 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 spotting these abusers, the people that take your power, the people who like to have the power over you, who dominate over you. And I always described it like kind of, oh, where's this going? Where's it? It's probably better here, isn't it? Dominating over you, and there's a good fit there because it feels nice, but it's familiar from the past. And I was kind of noticing all these patterns and noticing these patterns in my relationships. And it was about how to spot them out there, and therefore avoid them. How to avoid them, and also how to that subject was that video was how to stop loving one, because once you see the patterns and you cut off the ties, sometimes it's difficult to emotionally disconnect. And I in that video talked about some different tools and techniques which are appropriate and relevant and pertinent now. I still think about how to see, just change the perspective, see that it wasn't real, see that there are different things at play. But as over the years, my perspective has changed. So it's not actually about them, although it is. It's about seeing the bigger picture and changing the perspective still. But actually, the real change and development over the last 10 years has been that it's not out them and spotting them. It's actually, what? Oh, it's about us. And it's about seeing stuff within us that attracts them to us. That's a much better thing, rather than batting them away while still attracting them. Duh. Change the polarity inside. So we're pushing them away rather than drawing them towards you. I mean, that's an obvious thing, is it not? And it just takes a while to see. So it's not how I thought it would end. That video, I thought it'd be more and more about beating the drum about abusers and they'll never change, and actually it's not about them not changing. It's about, holy crap, it's about us not changing, and we need to, otherwise we're forever attracting them. And that's the thing I always helped try to avoid. Yet I fell into the same trap, and it's like, why do I keep repeating these patterns? So that's when it turned from whoop, holy moly, what's going on here? What's wrong with me? What is it that I'm doing that has got this polarity that I'm magnetized people towards me? So, kindness taken for granted, strange things that kind of wrong foot you and you just think aren't right, and in fact aren't right. So it's really interesting development for me that it's gone from that to this, and it's absolutely not what I thought it would be, so it's not how I thought it would end, and it's not how I thought my marriages would end. Like anybody, I went into my marriages absolutely besotted and thinking I was the luckiest man alive, and absolutely committed for life, and it always really upset me when Yeah, it's terrible, isn't it? Even to say it. Each separation, the biggest tear by far, because by that time I'd seen a different side. The biggest impact by far was not living with my own children, which is a very painful thing to do. However, what I do now is have my two. I've got the two younger girls. The boys are 21 and 17, so kind of they've flown a bit to some extent. And ironically, I see them now more than ever. But I see my girls 3 nights a week. On average, 3 nights a week, do the school runs and things like that. So I have a stronger relationship with them now, and it's a more independent relationship with them, independent of others. So more authentic to me, and happier and more beneficial for all of us, I think, from that. So it's not the people around us, it's who we are to attract them. And that's an interesting thing. I didn't see that at the beginning of my journey. I didn't see that who I was being. It was I was playing. Where was I? Over here. No, over here. Sorry, I can see the screen, but it's reversed. So playing the victim. And I knew I didn't want to be the victim, so it's coming out of victim mode, And some people like the word survivors, which is cool, but it's still victim kind of thing, language. So it's about not being a victim anymore, which absolutely is about that. But to really fully take the journey to having healthy self-esteem, healthy self-worth, taking actions that are positive for yourself, and where you don't self-sabotage or put others above you, and attract the polarity, attract people towards you. It's doing that inner work, and that's really difficult. And if it was easy, I think the answers would be out there much more readily. And it's because I've been tenacious, to say the least, tenacious on this subject, and perplexed, and having me as my best subject to work on, because boy, have I made mistakes. That it's how much time am I taking? 7 minutes. That I've been persistent with it, and it's like, what is it? And it's like, yeah, these what I call the deeper self beliefs, the mother of all beliefs. I've coined the phrase. That it's like, oh crap, yeah, of course I'm going to give away my power. I'm going to attract people who also like to have that power to bolster themselves up, and feel better about themselves. And that's the whole point. That's the whole reason. That's because it's like I've got these negative beliefs about myself. That's why. That's what creates the magnetism. My kindness, my empathy, my putting others before me. That's what attracts it, and that's interestingly, you don't have to stop that. You just have to be able to guard against it and choose when you give it out. You basically have to take control of it, and that's your power. I was saying to my daughter, my 6-year-old daughter, that she's got a superpower, which is empathy. She's developed it really early on, and I can see it really strongly in her. It comes along with creativity, and she was talking about superpowers, and I just added that one in. It was like, yes, baby, you've got your superpower. Another superpower you have is seeing people's emotions and being able to understand people's emotions, other people's. And she was like, is that my superpower, Daddy? And it was like, yes, it is, And I've told her, some things it's really difficult sometimes because she can cry quite easily. I said, crying, you think it's a negative thing to be so emotional, but it's a superpower. You just have to learn how to use it. So by God, I'm going to teach her how to use it and help her learn for herself how to use that, in a way that I wasn't taught when I was a child. And we're not taught this at school. How to learn to train your superpower of emotion. And some people are more are more emotional than others. Some are more empathetic than others. And there's a natural personality profile trait and preferences. That's understandable, but for people who give away their power, they haven't learned how to control that, how to be open and vulnerable sometimes, yet actually protect and guard themselves. And that's exactly what we need to do. If we haven't learned that yet, we want to change this polarity and this magnetism to attract people that are going to dominate over us. It's an awfully painful thing, and it's a tiresome, frustrating, confusing thing. This whole why we attract abusers, why we attract imbalanced relationships, why we have this going on, this dynamic, and why we put up with it. Why, it answers so much stuff, but it's a really complex thing. But the brain is complex, is it not? It's a really complex thing to understand. It's a really complex thing to overcome. This negative emotion or sensitivity to negative emotions we have about ourselves that stop us from taking certain actions that we should and want to and need to take, but we don't. So we kind of hold ourselves back because of these negative emotions. And where do these negative emotions come from, except in here? But where were they? They didn't. We weren't born with them. So that comes, from the influence of childhood, from our environments and what we were brought up and used to, and treading on eggshells so as not to annoy the. You can sense this stuff, tensions with parents, or there was abuse, or trauma, all these things that give us an imprint, and we learn, and we don't realize we've learned it, and it's become automatic down in the subconscious of our minds, and it's like without thinking we do that, and we give away our power, and without realizing we magnetize those people towards us that we wouldn't wish on anybody else, and then we blame ourselves for it. Yeah, of course it is us. So it's a really difficult thing. I remember in my early days, are you saying it's my fault? I was saying, no, it's not your fault. You've done nothing wrong, but it is your responsibility. So only we can change that. But if you want a guide, a help to steer your way through this, then by all means, get in contact with me, have a conversation with me, take the test. Ta-da! So this test is not rigorous in terms of like the big 5 personality traits or IQ test or anything like that, because it's only 10 questions. It takes 2 minutes to do. It's a self-assessment. Yeah, it's a good start for the conversation. If you get a score that's 15 or lower, that's an indicator of this propensity for negative emotions, negative thinking about yourself, and stops the actions that you take. So yeah, I find it a useful tool. There aren't many self-esteem tools out there, and they're all equally unreliable, because it's all just self-assessment. It's not mapped against the big 5 in terms of personality profiling. They're not robust in that sense. However, they're a useful tool. So if you haven't taken it, by all means take it. If you have, and you can find it on my page, or you can just message me for it. If you have taken it, and you'd like to have a conversation about this, if this has opened up something for you, then by all means, I'll take that down. By all means, have a conversation with me. I'd love to have a conversation with you about it. I find it fascinating, and yes, I've been through that stuff. So my invitation is to you. It sounds obvious, this stuff, yet it is vital, absolutely vital for being able to create and implement a change in your life. To realise what the imprint in there, the mother of all beliefs, that I've coined a phrase, to realise what the mother of all belief is, because it steers you in an unwanted direction. It silently steers you in the wrong direction. And that's a really difficult thing to understand, to see, to realise. It's tricky stuff. So my invitation to you sounds obvious, but come and watch the video that I've done recently. The no sales video, just basic, raw, real, and honest video. Who says that? Somebody else says that. Somebody else's phrase. Liz Benny says that. Raw, real, I'm going to be raw, real, and honest. She doesn't quite speak like that. It was a bit more Tony Robbins. But anyway, I've ditched all the sales garb in this because it feels more authentic. So I'm just doing a video because I want you to see how important this stuff is for you. Many thanks. Got any questions? Please get in contact and ask, because I'd love you not to make the same mistakes. All right, many thanks. Speak to you soon. Bye-bye.